This is Katrina from the Ayurvedic Health Center in Bellingham, Washington, and I thought I would talk with you about oil pulling. It's another self-care practice that you could do. It's one that I do. I've been doing it daily for... I've done all these practices for so long. I've probably done oil pulling the longest. I'm going to say probably more like 10 years. 11 years? 12 years? It's possible. I've done it for a long time. I know a lot of people lately have found some kind of information that recommends coconut oil, and while I don't think that's a bad recommendation, I also don't think it's a good recommendation. My recommendation has always been around sesame oil, and that's because sesame seeds have high calcium content, which then the oil has, and calcium is really helpful to the teeth, the bones of the jaw, and the gum tissue. Coconut oil is a colder oil, and it's solid most of the year here in the North America and the United States. And so you kind of have to warm up the oil to get it to liquefy, and to me that's just an extra step, and I would just rather use sesame oil that's liquid all year round here. And I think there's good benefit in the calcium content again. So my little story around oil pulling, I had gone to see a dentist and they took pocket number readings, and I didn't at the time understand what that meant, but as they were, the one hygienist was calling them out to the other one, there were a lot of 3s, a couple 2s, a couple 4s, maybe 1 1 and 1 5. So independent of that experience, I decided to start oil swishing or oil pulling. And I did it daily for a year, and then I happened to go back to the dentist where again pocket numbers were measured, and those are markers of inflammation of the gums around a tooth. And the only change I'd made to my dental care regimen was to oil swish and pull, and my pocket numbers were down. Almost all of them were 1s. I think there was literally 3 2s and 1 3. And so I kind of went, whoa, this stuff really works. This is great. So I've continued to use it. And I've heard similar stories from people who do it as a daily practice. So the way you do it is simple. You get a soup spoon out of your kitchen drawer, and you gently pour some sesame seed oil into it. And I just say gently, just to mean that you don't spill it and make a mess. And then you pop that into your mouth, and you'll go, oh, I have oil in my mouth. And yes, you do. And never mind, move on. So you swish the oil around. You kind of, that's what I remember on TV commercials when I was a kid that you were supposed to do with mouthwash. So pretty vigorous. You want to really move it all around. And you go for as long, some people say 10 minutes, some people say 15. What I've found is a better measure is you'll notice at some point that it no longer feels like you have oil in your mouth, because the oil has emulsified with your saliva, and it just feels like you have a lot of saliva in your mouth. So from my perspective, that's when you should stop oil swishing. And I would rather people be attentive and aware and mindful of what's going on in their body as they're doing the practice than just watching a clock, something external. So that's my recommendation. Oil swish until you notice that it no longer feels like you have oil in your mouth, and then spit it out. The caveat is, do not spit this out into any sink or drain, because over time you are going to build up like the thickest, gunkiest sludge in your drain, and you're going to be paying a lot of money to plumbers, which may be nice for the plumbers, but is a hassle nonetheless. So I live in a place where I can go outside and spit the oil out into the garden, into the woods. So that's been my practice. I know some people who keep like an empty plastic water bottle, and they spit the oil into that, put the cap on, they keep it, and when it's filled up, then they throw it out in the trash. That's another idea. So anyway, there's different ways to take care of it. But I'm a big fan of oil pulling. And I will tell you that it has successfully pulled popcorn husks out of my teeth, gum spaces somewhere that I didn't even know I had. I was sure that I cleaned them all out and wasn't feeling that there were any there. But as I've oil swished and spit them out, there they were. So it's got some power to it. So I'll do a little tiny demonstration here. This is actually water that I have here, because it's just a little less messy. So you get the idea. It should be pretty vigorous. It should be obvious to someone who's in the room with you that there's something in your mouth. All right. I hope this was helpful for you. Thank you.